We've all heard the uranium story. The only thing I would add, I've been doing this since 1996. To give you perspective, I think it was around 2005, and I was in London, and a fellow named Jamie Strauss was trying to put together. He believed in the uranium story. He wanted to take people on a tour, and of course, we gladly did it. We had no, it was called Strathmore back then. Anyways, we could have fit 5 people. That's all we, 5 players in the entire industry. At the top of the market in 2007, there were 985 companies. And so I'll just say that I know people are saying with this huge correction we had, what's going on? Well, the junior explorers have been hit the hardest. The tier 1 companies like Denison and NextGen, they've been holding much better. We haven't. Strathmore has got a market cap of 16 million and about 3+ million in cash. Just shows you what kind of meltdown we've had amongst what an opportunity for contrarians. We just closed a financing at 50 cents. The stock was 37. So we're thankful to Red Cloud for finishing that. I just think this is a correction. It's certainly not top. It drives me crazy that uranium goes from $50 to 106, and the world's coming to an end when it goes to 95. Like, talk about lack of perspective amongst investors. And so I think this conference is perfect. There's a chance for people to kind of step back and see there's some great opportunities out there. There's a number of articles out there. I think I'll leave that to you guys. I think other people have covered the whole uranium and nuclear power story better than I could. But I will say about the States, and I could cut and paste a lot of what the previous speaker has said. It amazes me what's going on in the States. You've got over 100 reactors, #1 user of uranium, but there's hardly any production. At one time, I know in the 70s, there was 40 million pounds of demand and about 4 million pounds of production. Now it's in inverse. Most of when I'm in the States, I point out to some people that every 5th light bulb is powered by nuclear power. Every 10th light bulb is powered by Russian uranium. And that's how much of a need we have to get it together in the US. You got this huge demand and we're not doing much about it. Although I know that yesterday in Congress, through a bipartisan bill, they're able to now hopefully ramp up nuclear power much quicker. Has to go through the Senate yet, but that was just yesterday. The momentum is building in the States. As we said, there's over 400 reactors in the world. The US has 100+ of them. Again, the story is better told by others, but the big thing I got away from lunch today is we have still a shortage in uranium. In the last cycle, we had a surplus. So I don't see this ending anytime soon. Because, out of 8 billion people in the world, 3.5 billion people still don't have power or enough of it all the time. There's shortages. There's still a big demand. This is more about what's going on in the States. I don't ever see them banning Russian uranium because I don't know where they would get their uranium. I have no idea. It's not like there's lots of stockpiles. And the key is that when I started in business, the greenies didn't believe in nuclear power. They believed in renewables. They believed the renewables were the answer. Well, as we've learned, Germany has showed that's just a myth. It just won't replace. You need baseload power, and only thing that can do that is nuclear power. And so, on the left, we finally got an answer for the Greens. They want clean energy, and on the right side, security of energy, which is what the Republicans want. So that's why I'm finally seeing, both sides of the aisle agree on one thing. I've been to China many times, and I can tell you their plan to build reactors is real. I've been to their research facilities. We secured an $80 million financing in another company. So I spent a lot of time with the Chinese. They don't talk about it, they just do it. And anybody who's ever been to China can tell you how awful the pollution is. And so they're very real. but they're also building coal plants. They need all the energy they can get. This is the fuel cycle. The bottom line is it takes 2 years from the time, let's say, Cameco produces uranium and by the time someone can use it. There's quite the lag. It's not like tomorrow morning, people are going to be like, oh, well, lots of uranium, let's go. There's a lag, and it's going to take some time. Again, we're a fairly new player to the uranium space. Our home is Wyoming, and you've heard some great things about it. What we've been able to do as a management team is provide value to shareholders for a very long time. Going back to 96, as a CEO, we brought in Sumitomo to work in New Mexico with us. And eventually that got spun out to Energy Fuels. We took the Canadian assets, became Fission Energy. We made a discovery there with the help of the Korean utility, sold that to Denison, and then took whatever was, Denison took all our properties on the east side of the basin. Lucas Lundin used to call that the milkshake side because the unconformity that was there. And then we discovered Triple R. Bottom line is that if you owned a share of Strathmore in 2007, you look in your account today, you'll have 5 stocks. I don't know how many companies pay dividends out, but we do. We spun out. If we have a project we love, we take it, develop it. Meanwhile, we take the rest of it and give you a free share and get another team to keep running with it. So we have provided value since 1996. We've also won a bunch of awards. But the most important guy in our team isn't myself or the others. It's a guy named John DeJoya. John got in the uranium business when he was 22 years old. Now he's in his 70s. I'll let you do the numbers. But, he personally mined about 22 million pounds out of the Shirley Basin. He, in the back of his head, remembers things that most people have forgotten about. He's the core. He's the brainchild of how we started the company. Was he phoned me and we just said, look, I don't believe that all the good projects are gone. There's some, we actually staked these properties that we have. We didn't buy them. We staked them. It takes a special skill, but our boys on the ground got it done. So we paid hardly anything for our properties. Wyoming is a great place to be. We're obviously hoping that Bill Gates and Warren Buffett continue to build a nuclear project. The town was a coal town, and they're hopefully going to build a nuclear plant on it. Anyway, the Department of Energy plans to invest $2 billion. The other cool thing about Wyoming is if you talk to people from Wyoming and you talk about uranium, they get it. They just get it. They go, yeah. When you talk to most people, they don't know what you think uranium is used for bombs still. Wyoming, well, again, this has been covered by the previous speaker, but Wyoming is the best place to be in my view. Geologically, politically, you won't get NIMBY stuff happening there. They want, and now they got rare earth as well. But Wyoming only has 600,000 people, if I'm correct. That's not a lot of people, but it's a great place to be doing business. We're quite excited. All our projects are either in the Shirley Basin or the Gas Hills. I've been there a few times, and the nice thing is, come summer, you can drive your truck right to the properties. I think, David, you might have done that. But if you see where our properties are, they're amongst the giants, the Camecos, UECs, and et cetera. So they're well located. As we develop these assets, I believe we'll bring in a joint venture partners, or we outright sell some of the assets. We will see. Shirley Basin, for those who don't know, over 52 million pounds have been produced there. A great jurisdiction. Our leading project now would be A-Gat. It's an ISR project. It's about 1,000 acres. Kerr-McGee drilled up to 650 holes, and luckily they left some of the data behind. One of the big differences in the US and Canada is that in Canada, when you do work on your properties, you have to leave that data with the government. In the States, that's not the case. So when they do the work, they often don't leave the data. But in this case, Kerr-McGee did. They left 300 of these holes, and right now we're working with the University of Wyoming, their geology department, and they're helping us determine better targets. The mineralization is fairly shallow, 15 feet to 150 feet. It's well below the water table. The average thickness was several feet to tens of feet, with grades ranging from 0.02 to 0.14. We did 100 holes, and 93 of them came back mineralized, which we're quite happy with. Our goal was to identify a uranium roll front that we can grow. We are quite happy with the results, but obviously we've only covered a small part of the property. This year, we're going to probably do another couple hundred holes. Thankfully, it's very cheap to drill in Wyoming compared to the Athabasca. Athabasca, it costs $250,000 to $500,000 per hole. Give you an idea. Some holes are even deeper. Here, they're as low as 5,000, and so because the holes are very, very shallow. So as a result, we can drill very, very cheaply. We're quite excited to work with the University of Wyoming. They have told us they've got some interesting technology ideas, and they got a grant to help us, and we're working with them to pick better targets, bottom line. There's our drilling. Those who are ISR people will love the drill cuttings, exactly what you want to see for a roll front. And there's other data there. This is for those who, I'm happy to talk to you later more about the drilling if you want to come sit and chat. Meanwhile, some of the grades have been higher, 0.126. But overall, the thickness has been about 1. The mineralization, like I said, we've hit on 93% of the holes, but mineralization remains open in all directions. As you can see in the property, very small piece of the land has been drilled. And then we did that because Kerr-McGee gave us all this free data, so we stayed in that area. But now that we felt with 93% hit rate, we're going to be extending other areas. This is what a typical ideal roll front is, and as you can tell, the A-Gat is absolutely classic roll front, all the details that came out. So we're quite excited to go back in. This was our first shot at drilling up there. So we're excited about the second year. I'll let you guys read that but Dave has been up there, and Mr. Talbot probably do a much better job than I can talk about the geology. But it's a very classic roll front that we see. And like I said, we're excited to go back in this year. The Beaver Rim was actually the first property we had. It lies south just of the Chemical property, and I've driven over that property, and they have got some unbelievable high grade. So we're excited to be drilling in there. The Gas Hills Peach Project, they have over 13 million pounds and another 6 million inferred. The whole Beaver Rim is very underexplored, and we believe it has potential for high-grade mineralization. We will find that out. We're going to drill anywhere from 100 to 200. When I give out numbers of holes, we all know what really happens. If you hit, you're going to double and triple those numbers. If you don't, you don't. But that's our plan. It's in the right geological area in the Gas Hills. I know that talking to people like John Cash and others, they've often openly said, why didn't everybody knew the uranium was there and in Beaver Rim, but nobody ever did anything. And so we're excited to have an opportunity to go in there. Our last property is Night Owl. We found high-grade uranium at surface, but however, when we went deeper, it wouldn't continue. So what we're going to do this year is do some geochemistry and bring in some geotech folks to help us understand, because this doesn't look like anything we have seen before. It was a former producer. And in those times, back in the 50s, whatever uranium you had, you could sell. Anyways, once the prices settled back down, they stopped production here. They didn't, literally every uranium pound they found here went to bombs, to be straight up about it. But once that they had enough, the uranium prices were too low. This is an exciting piece for us. We signed an agreement with Ura Energy. Ura Energy has a lot of permits, and we have the assets. For whatever reason, people didn't grab some of these assets like Beaver Rim, A-Gat, and we're quite excited to work with them. As you may know, that John Cash has also been fairly verbal about working with them. Wherever they are, wherever we are, they are. And so we're looking forward to maybe do joint ventures, but maybe some other possibilities as well. We're working on an MOU right now to define our roles and responsibilities. The bottom line is this, is that, for example, it will cut our costs in half and probably our time by half if we use their permits and our assets. Obviously, we've got to do a lot more drilling to have more pounds to work with them. This is our planned schedule. We didn't raise money, but we have raised more money, so this probably be doubled both on A-Gat, Beaver Rim, and Night Owl. This is our team. Myself, Terrence Ozzie is on the ground. We don't have a big team. We contract everything out, but that reflects a company that's got a market cap of 16 million, and as I said, 3 million in cash. This is obviously without the correction, but that's all I really have, David.